What's good, Kingdom? Yo, alright, so today I want to talk about the Tectone and Pinkchu lawsuit. Okay, so disclaimer, I have seen the Legal Mindset live streams in full, all three parts of it, and from what I've gathered, it's such a Me Too situation, bro. Like, first of all, I fully believe that the judge is very biased. Okay. I think there were no reasonable reasons to believe everything that Pinkchu said. However, I do think that when Tectone told the lawyer about him being unmedicated and not being on therapy, and obviously the face melting stuff, I understand why the judge ruled how she judged. She's biased, don't get me wrong, but I think that was really the nail in the coffin. I think if he was medicated or stable at least, right, then it could have gone into favor of Tectone, because Pinkchu's story mostly comes down to that she now thinks that everything she did with Tectone was against her will or something like that. And when you hear Tectone, he paints the picture as it was all consensual. I've always been very open with consent and asking for consent. Obviously, you know, Tectone could be lying or Pinkchu could be lying, right? We don't know that, right? But from what I've known about Tectone, right, what he have shown as a person, right, he always seemed like that person that would actually say and ask the things that he's, you know, that he said in his testimony. And I think it was unfair that in the cross-examination that it was all about like, oh, what about your politics about white supremacy and racism? Like, I don't know why that was relevant. I don't know why the judge said I don't know why the judge didn't like go out like, yo, relevancy. Like, it just, I don't know. But let me like go over the start. Okay, so it all started with like this whole issue with Freem. Apparently she when she moved out of Tectone's house and Pinkchu she moved in, apparently she had cameras that Tectone assumed she would have taken down, but she hadn't, and she recorded apparently intimate videos where Tectone and Pinkchu were on, threatened to send it to the agency that Tectone was under, to pretty much like destroy his credibility or something. I don't know why, because from the dates you could have already seen that they were already broke up, right? The divorce might have not been, you know, fully concluded, right? But they were already in the process of the divorce, right? And from the story that Pinkchu told, Freem apparently she cheated on Tectone first, and then she tries to like backpedal or like make this kind of paint this kind of picture where Tectone was cheating with Pinkchu all along. But yeah, I didn't really care much about the Pinkchu and Freem drama, to be honest, because I don't know any of these bitches, okay? But yeah, that was a whole thing. They talked about that. A lot of this looked like a pointless cat fight, like jealousy, stuff like that. I think the testimony came for Pinkchu. She like told stories which had like weird inconsistencies, like for example when she went to like the facility for her mental health, apparently she fled from the house, but she had messages that she sent to Tectone about can't wait to suck your dick tonight, or like all kind, and like, well, messages you would assume that two people with a relationship would have, right? Which are very sexually tinted. So that's like a big inconsistency. Now you could argue like, well, it's to protect herself, but even her sister said that there was no reason to actually protect her. It was just like she went out of the house because she was like unwell, and was not, at least as far as the sister concerned, was she didn't flee from Tectone. She just fled from the house because she was, well, I don't know, having issues. But I think the main part about her testimony is that she was very upset that Tectone never had actual like regular sex, if that makes sense. From the testimony of Tectone, it came out that he was sexually assaulted by a family member, and he retained a trauma from that, and since then he been afraid of vaginas. How ironic and silly that sounds. That is what he said in court, right? So he was never really into the whole vaginal sex department, right? And from her testimony, it really seemed that was like one of the biggest issues, right? And obviously there were like things about like, oh, Tectone put his dick in my mouth when I was asleep and stuff like that, which all we know could be true, right? We don't know that, but from what Tectone said, it doesn't really seem to be the case. But like I said, both parties could be lying. Personally, I don't think Tectone was lying. Obviously, you know, I might be a little bit biased, right? Because I actually, you know, no matter how objective I try to be, I don't really care about Pinkchu, right? Like I don't know her. I don't know Tectone either, but like at least I consume, you know, his content now and then. You know, he's a form of entertainment to me, right? So that's like the relationship or the bond I have with him. And from what I know, right, it doesn't seem like what he said is a lie, right? Okay, so anyway, so that was like, I think the underlying issue, that in their whole relationship there was no regular sex, and then suddenly like everything all the kinky shit that she was into with Tectone or did with Tectone was essentially suddenly sexual assault and rape, which I think is a stretch, because I think if you are a couple, right, she might have regretted doing that, sure, right? But at the point, right, as far as we know, Tectone said that it was all consensual. They was always like very strict and very careful about assuming consent. He was not comfortable with assumed consent. I mean, which is obviously a very, you know, very good way to protect yourself when you have allegations against you that you've assaulted somebody, right? Which could be a very convenient lie, or it could be the truth. And if it's the truth, then, you know, then it's just more fucked up, I think, because why would you lie about being assaulted, right? Like, especially with her having a just like Tectone, a sexual experience, a trauma about a sexual thing from their past, right? So that's really strange to me. What else? I'm just like rambling. I just want to talk about this stuff because I don't really have anyone else to talk about this. And it's just kind of like trying to like figure out, right? Like I want to just put it out there, what my opinions are, what I think, what I've saw, what I've heard, what I've seen, what I've read. And it's just, this whole thing makes so little sense, right? Now obviously the text messages, they're strange, right? They give the polar opposite of what Pinkchu's testimony said, what was going on at the time. And it's just and I believe they had like more evidence of text messages that they didn't go over or something, or it wasn't like or it wasn't accepted by the court or something. I don't know. I think there was something about that, but correct me if I'm wrong. But as far as I know, like Tectone said that he had a lot of like text messages that would expose everything, right? And I think if he said that, knowing his history with Google Doc stuff, you know, I don't think he was lying about that. I just think that he didn't, I guess, wasn't allowed to bring all the messages that he had or something. I don't know. Or they weren't relevant. Could be it. You know, I'm no lawyer, I'm no judge, you know, I know nothing about the law, right? But I do think that if we are going to label somebody a sexual assaulter or a rapist or a cheater or whatever, right? We should have the facts, right? And obviously, public opinion spreads fast. You know, whole rape tone thing happened, which is obviously disgusting, right? Like calling somebody a rapist when there's no credible background about that actually happening. On top of that, one like key factor I really want to mention is that Pinkchu had a criminal charge or a criminal investigation going, right? But she never talked about any assault. She never talked about any rape or sexually or that being a sex victim about anything. And then she dropped it. Like, it's just, if you already have a thing going on, why would I mean, obviously it was not against Tectone, it was against Dream, right? But she dropped it. Like, I don't know. And then like she said to the medical professionals about like when they asked if they had any sexual how do they say it again? Negative sexual experiences in the last 6 months or something like that. And then she said no. Even though in her testimony, apparently all those awful things that Tectone did was like a month before that. I would assume that if you go to a medical professional or a psychiatrist or whatever that facility was, I don't know the details, I would assume that you would like tell them, because that could be crucial to your recovery, right? So that's strange. And then when the cross-examination came, it was such a mess. She was backpedaling about stuff. She was like suddenly there were like things that she forgot to mention or like she didn't understand. She was completely deaf about what the implications could be about tweets, like how much reach she has. Like, oh, it was just the alt account, even though it had like massive amount of views. And it's just like at one point, how far can you stretch a lie until somebody's like, all right, this is going nowhere. Like there's no way that everything that you just said you actually believe. Like somebody who is in the social media sphere doesn't understand what the implications could be about fake tweeting about somebody where it wasn't fake enough to know exactly who it was aimed at. Like, that's just target harassment, right? Like, it's just, I don't know. Anyway, she denied all that. She didn't understand, blah, blah. It's ridiculous, honestly. And then there was like this thing about, you don't have to pay rent, but you can, if you suck my dick, you don't have to pay rent or something. Like, that doesn't sound believable, in my opinion. Especially when I believe in the cross-examination against Tectone, the lawyer asked him, did you ask your male roommate for sexual favors too? like did you ask him to suck your dick too? Like I couldn't help but laugh about that. Like, bro, really? So he lets him live rent-free, mind you, rent-free, right? And then she apparently fled from her house because it had a roach or something. Personally, from the story, I understand more of like, well, they were already like seeing each other, right? They were already like, familiar with each other a little bit. I mean, Tectone even went to her parents' house, for God's sake, after like dating for like a couple weeks. I think that was just a reason to like, you know, get out of the house and just, you know, because she just wanted to live with him. That's how it sounds to me, right? Now, obviously, this rebound relationship was a terrible idea from the start. Of course, it's not smart to, after a divorce, you jump into a new relationship right away, right? But, hey, best side is hindsight, right? So, it's not really fair to judge that kind of thing. It's only a way to learn about it, right? And other people to learn from that experience. But yeah, then then the lawyer asked to, you know, if he also had to suck his dick to get rent or to live rent free, which he obviously said no to, right? And he never admitted that that was actually a deal they had. According to him, it was always consensual. You know, you could take that with a grain of salt because, you know, both testimonies are just, you know, it's he said, she said, right? It's that kind of stuff. But being civil court means that, you know, standards of proof are not as high as, you know, criminal courts. So, and then on top of having a very social justice warrior judge against you, it just didn't look good. Like, already, like, winning these civil court cases is already, like, insanely difficult. And then you have a very feminist propaganda coded lawyer of not lawyer. Picture had like a very feminist propaganda coded lawyer on top of the judge being very social justice warrior coded. He was never going to win. Like, even after the cross-examination against Tectone, his lawyer came in, like, argued things like shit, what was it? He argued that, hold on, let me look it up again, because I'm just drawing a blank all of a sudden. It was such a short section of the stream, so it was just, you know, it was just not, it didn't retain as quickly. It's also, I just watched it as well, so for me, whenever it's like just happened, it's not like really in my mind, didn't like sleep on it and other stuff, right? So forgive me if I look it up real quick. Oh yeah, that was about the tweets. So the position is this disingenuous to kind of throw this grenade out in the public discussion and then say you're not allowed to defend yourself. And this like goes on about the fact that Pink Chu was fake tweeting and Tectone responded, right?
You're not allowed to say the truth is going to come out. You're not allowed to say I'm looking forward to defending my innocence.
Yeah, there was also a part like he was his defense was like he talked about like, I will sue you. Oh, hold on, let me get rid of this stuff. I will sue you. It will happen, right? And that was the extent of his threats. He was going to pursue legal action, right? That's what his public statements on Twitter were, right? So saying that Tectone is dangerous and he should get his guns taken from him, it's such a wild stretch, because he has clearly from the jump has always stated that he's going to sue her. He never said, I'm going to get to your house or attack. Obviously, you shouldn't do that, right? Say that or do that, right? But if he did say that, right, I understand why the judge would like be like, okay, well, you did have like threats about like going to her house, attacking her, blah blah, right? But he never did. He never had any intentions. He never hinted at the fact that he would. I think the biggest extent you could argue is that he said once in a video about, I am armed and anyone who enters my property will get shot, right? Which is legal in Texas. But that wasn't even against Pink. That was against like people that were trying to break into his house. That's why he moved in the first place. People knew where he lived. So he moved out of that house into a new one, and soon after people already found out where he lived and they started, you know, coming to his house, right? And that's when he said in one of his videos or streams or one of the two, anyone who steps on my property will get shot. Like, I don't think that is a dangerous thing to say, or like that's not a reason for somebody to say he's dangerous, so take his guns. Like, you enter his property, right? That is the law. The law is if you enter somebody's property, you are legally allowed to harm them, right? And then was another section.
In front. Based on the evidence and testimonies provided, the court does find there's reasonable grounds that the applicant is victim of sexual assault.
Like that part was crazy to me, bro. Like based on the testimony and the evidence that's been provided, what evidence? There were no videos, there were no text messages. There was only her word. Her word. That's it. And I do think there's one thing that Tectone seemed very believable is because he actually acknowledged that some things that he said on Twitter were wrong, right? And I think somebody who is able to acknowledge when he said something wrong or did something wrong, I don't know, I just don't think he would like lie about anything, right? Especially considering he wanted to sue her. Like, he wanted to sue her. And if he knew that he did all these horrible things to her, I don't think he would actually want to sue her, because then, well, everything comes out. Everything gets everyone gets to know that he was apparently a sexual assaulter and a rapist and whatever the fuck. Like, it doesn't make sense, right? It wouldn't make sense that if he did all the things that Pichu said that he did, to sue her for defamation. Like, it doesn't make sense, you know? Like, it's so easy for her to countersue him. Like, why would you engage with that ticking time bomb? That makes this whole thing even weirder, you know?
Assault. The court makes an additional finding there are reasonable grounds to believe the applicant is a victim of stalking and will grant a 10-year protective order. Holy smokes.
Stalking. We're talking about cyber stalking here, by the way. Just log off. Block the person. Like, it's mind-boggling that we have a court case in 2026 arguing that stalking or that cyber stalking is stalking. We might call it cyber stalking because it's like it has like familiar roots with like stalking, right? But at the end of the day, these people are online. These people only see what you publish and post. Like, it's not like he goes to your house and takes pictures while you're naked in the bathtub. Like, it's crazy to me that this is actually a thing. This guy gets she gets a protective order for 10 years from Tectone because he apparently cyberstalked her and he apparently sexually assaulted her. Like, it's crazy. Like, also, there's one part, there was like this thing that Pichu and Tectone did that Pichu, have I been saying Pichu? It's Pinkchu, whatever. That she said was very terrible. Like he demanded her to like write slut on her forehead, or your typical, if you watched any hentai or like read any doujinshi, right? There's like this like very degrading kind of fetish where there's a bunch of like texts that they write on like a woman's body and stuff like that for degrading purposes, right? It's a kink. I don't understand it. I personally don't really think it's like very attractive, but apparently Tectone does find it attractive. Pinkchu said that he forced her to do it, and then Tectone said, well, I never said that she should put slut on there, and that she even seemed to like that kind of stuff. Like, she was into it. Like, it's just so like, it's like, who do you believe, right? And also, you have to consider this woman used to be his girlfriend. How much more biased do you have to be when you're an ex-partner of somebody to have a hatred against them? Like, it's just, it makes no sense, dude. It makes no sense, especially when she broke up with him. Or wait, that was Stream. Never mind. I think Tectone broke up with her. I don't remember. I don't think that was stated. I don't know, whatever. But like, it's so stupid, bro. Like, this is so stupid, bro. Now, after this or before this, Pink Chew's lawyer said this. That was crazy to me as well.
I mean, to me, that is proof in the pudding that my client absolutely needs. What the fuck? Okay, sorry, I have to stop this. She literally just argued that Tectone following the law and the protective order is proof that he's guilty and needs what? Just okay.
So literally, this lawyer argued that because Tectone respected the restraining order, that he's guilty, because people who are not guilty would break the law. Like what? Like you know, like if this is what a lawyer comes up with after a cross-examination to argue to the judge, like he didn't break the law, so he's guilty. What? Like how? The fact that this woman won this case is insane to me. Insane. Like it's just, oh god, actually insane. And I think the only determining factor, the only nail in the coffin, is definitely that he is an unmedicated schizophrenic. I think that is the only reason why the judge actually was able to, you know, rule how she did. Like if he was medicated and, you know, didn't have any issues with his schizophrenia, and maybe had like therapy, like was seeing a therapist or whatever, or a psychiatrist or whatever the fuck, right? Anything that would like tell somebody like, yo, I'm dealing with this shit, you know, I'm slowly recovering, or like I'm learning how to live with it, or blah 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 blah, right? There was no case here, bro. Because there's a lot of arguments that this attorney of hers said, like, well, he's schizophrenic, he might have, you know, misremembered it, even though the hilarious part was that Pink Chew argued that Tectone told her that her memory was vague and bad and stuff like that, which she agreed to, by the way, on top of like pulling out the I am autistic card that he groomed her, and she's just an autistic woman that, you know, doesn't know any better. Like, bitch, shut up, bro. Are you actually just hiding behind the autism shit? That's so disturbing, bro. Oh, I'm autistic, so I don't know. What? That's bullshit, bro. Absolute bullshit, dude. Especially how functional she is. If she's like, there you have like people that are autistic, and you know they are like well, they're just like beyond hope, right? But this is a mentally functioning woman with like probably like a very mild case of autism. Like it is insane to me, bro. Like, so they argue Tectone is a schizophrenic, so that must be bad. But because she is autistic, suddenly they take like I don't know, bro. Like just rereading this again, I'm like just I'm beyond words. And I already know people are gonna say like, oh, you are a rapist defender, or you support a sexual assaulter. Okay, well, tell it to his current girlfriend, all of his friends. Are you gonna argue that they all like accept Tectone as like some rapist or like sexual assaulter? Like, are you kidding me? Like, it's just I don't know. It's so difficult, because at one hand I would really like to believe when women speak out about being sexually assaulted or raped or whatever, right? But on the other hand, there's too many fucking women that are just salty, that are like that because they've broken up with somebody, and they're just like, oh well, now I regret whatever I did with him, and now I'm gonna sue him for it. Like it's crazy that you can take away consent. Can I just say that it is insane to me that you can take away consent on hindsight. That is insane. That is actually, that's like going to a tattoo parlor, right? You're gonna set a tattoo, right? And then like 3 weeks later you come back like, oh, I didn't consent to this. Take it off. Give my money back. Like, do you understand how ridiculous that is? I don't know, bro. I'm getting too riled up again, bro. Like, I thought I was like a bit cooled down about this whole situation, but I already feel like I'm again getting like heated, and I don't want to get heated, okay? Because then I like lose rationality and like start rambling about stuff, and start giving too many opinions that nobody asked for. But yeah, like, okay, I think it is very interesting how this whole thing wrapped out, or unwrapped, I mean. Personally, I think that there was a lot in Pink Chew's testimony that didn't make sense, that got pretty much like unrooted with the cross-examination, and then Tectone's testimony seemed very mild, seemed very safe. I would have to say it seemed very safe, outside of like him admitting like obviously evidence, right? Like the evidence, oh, did you tweet this, right? But outside of that, like all he said was like very safe things, which I believe, right? I mean, if you're going to be lying, then he should also be lying about, yeah, I'm medicated, and I have a therapist, and all that, right? Like, if you're gonna lie about stuff, like, you might as well do that, like, I don't know. It's just insane to me, bro. And the fact that this like lawyer argued like, oh, he broke the law, so he's guilty, or he didn't break the law, so he's guilty, is, I can't wrap my head around that, bro. Like, honest to God, I really do feel bad for women who go through what Pink Chew accused Tectone of, right? I really do, and I do think that it's very difficult to convince a judge that somebody actually did that kind of things to you, right? Although if you have a judge like this, it's probably really easy, but this is not criminal court, right? This is civil court. It's a whole different ball game. But yeah, it's crazy to me. Okay, it's crazy. Tectone losing his guns for 10 years and having oh yeah, also this part is also the most insane part, by the way. Okay, so this right here, you are not allowed to have any contact with her in any manner whatsoever. That means no contact through phone calls, emails, mail, text messages, any kind of social media, any kind of communication with her through third parties. And you know what the stupidest part is? When they had like this whole feud back and forth with each other, only Pink Chew approached him in his DMs. He ignored her, right? But Pink Chew has attempted to DM him. Like, the fact that this says Tectone is not allowed to have any contact is wild to me. I believe that both of them should have are not allowed to have any contact with each other. Like, it's crazy, bro. Like, the fact that they see this woman as a victim, like, it's insane. I think it's all a whole bunch of nonsense. I think she has been lying, or she has been talking very vaguely about untruths, right? Which is, that sometimes slips through the cracks. Maybe it's like she exaggerated a lot of stuff that he did to like make it sound as bad as possible. And I bet that lawyer of hers also like very encouraged her to make her sound as much as a victim as humanly possible. Like, it's just all around fucked up. And the fact that he got a judge that is such a biased person, which has a record of being very biased against male defendants. Like, it's just, yeah, it's crazy, bro. This whole thing is a setup. I think if Tectone is going to appeal, I think he should be allowed a different judge, because it's clear to me from seeing this whole document that this judge is so goddamn biased, bro. It's crazy, actually insane. But that's just my opinion. I would like to really hear your opinion in the comment section below. Be civil, okay? Don't start name calling. I will delete. No, I won't delete, but I will call you out on it if you start being disrespectful or whatnot to each other. If you say some bad stuff about me, I can take it. Go ahead. I don't care, bro. Like, call me whatever you want. It's fine. I don't really give a damn. But yeah, cool. So with that being said, that was the summary of the Tectone files by me, which is definitely not the most structural version. If you're curious, go ahead, go and look up Legal Mindset. Part 1 is only on his Kick at the moment. Maybe at the time when you see this video, he has his first stream back up. But part 2 and 3 are still on YouTube as of right now. Which is the 1st of February, right? Yeah, 1st of February. And yeah. Oh, and I see Tectone is currently streaming as well, so I'm gonna be watching that later. So yeah, that was the whole thing I wanted to yap about, because I thought it was important to talk about, because we had a Johnny Depp and Amber Heard situation here, and I think instead of Johnny Depp winning this time, Amber Heard won. So yeah, cool. Oh yeah, Miskiv is a moron. Don't listen to him. Everything he said that was you know, about this court case was fucking false, misconstrued, like he lied about everything. Like, it's just crazy to me, bro. He's just trying to like make you forget about his own situation, right? His Emerald kind of thing. So yeah, cool. All right, well, that's about it. Take care.